Hello, everybody. This is Dennis, and I haven't been posting any videos for a very long time. I think, ooh, hard to say, maybe half year have passed already since my last video on my channel, and you might think that maybe something happened, maybe I gave up, maybe I decided, maybe it was just a short channel and I don't know what you would think about it. But I've been gone for many reasons, but they are all my personal. When I started the channel, it was, to be honest, my huge dream to have a channel, YouTube channel. I wanted it to be big, I wanted to be successful, I wanted it to have many subscribers, views. On this channel, I wanted to be myself, but I couldn't. Maybe you know this feeling when you want to be yourself, that's the goal, but factors outside world, our inner scares, fears, right, they keep us occupied. We worry too much and it stops us from moving on. That's what happened to me. I started the channel, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was in a search. I knew that I wanted to have a YouTube channel. I knew that I wanted to speak about something, make videos about this. Just trying to open myself to this world. But at that time, I just didn't know how to overcome my fears, uh, how to face and not be stopped by other different factors, which can break a man. Anyway, I'm back. I hope. As you can see, many things has changed. I have long hair, longer than before. Maybe I look different. I would say in this half year, in these few months, I've been searching for myself. I've been searching for who I really am. I had existential crisis, let's say it that way. But I think my existential crisis started exactly when I started my YouTube channel for the first time. I remember that I would go out, I would sit and kind of think about my life, being very disappointed about everything, being unhappy with my job, being unhappy with the place I'm in, like the city itself was not that pleasant. Uh, being unhappy with who I have become, being unhappy with even my parents, being unhappy with everybody. Like kind of like trying to blame the whole world, even though it's like, even though actually I shouldn't blame anybody, nor even myself. You could expect that I would say no anybody but myself, but actually no. And I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to think and how to pause this difficult time, this difficult situation. So I tried many things. I tried my YouTube channel. I tried something else, searching, um, and now I am here today, building pathos a bit. I've been reading books a lot, philosophy books recently, because I think my biggest moment was when, on my last job, the employer decided to discontinue the contract with me, like not renew the contract, meaning that I would have to finish the contract and then I would be free from this employer and I would have to find a new one. I remember I was shocked. It was a huge surprise for me at that time because who but me? Like anybody but me, right? Um could be fired. Okay, maybe we had like a couple of more teachers who deserved well enough to be at this job, but I never thought that it could be possible that I would lose this job because I've been working really hard, diligently, giving my knowledge, giving everything I have. Seems like it will rain, but anyway, and I got fired anyway somehow. Uh, the beauty of the nature. Wind is rising, clouds are coming, and maybe rain will appear, and let it be. Anyway, so I was shocked and surprised, and that's the moment when I started to think about things differently. I started to search for maybe the new approach. I was kind of I wasn't mad or angry at the employer, but of course I couldn't find the inner peace inside me because it was shocking and unpleasant, and nobody really want to face it. Nobody really wants to face it. But once you face it, all you have to do is to move on and find your own peace in it. So I started to search for my peace. I started to search for the answers, and of course, I knew that who is better, or what is better to give the answers to existential questions than philosophy and other philosophers. So instead of only philosophizing by myself alone, I decided to read a bit more, read other authors. What did they say about life? What did they think about life? And I started with Stoicism. I decided that why not? Everybody speak nowadays about Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius, but mm, those people who speak about this don't really understand them. Maybe they never read Marcus Aurelius, but they always speak about Marcus Aurelius, or maybe they read it but the wrong way or their own way, but not the way Marcus Aurelius was writing. Because I tried to read it once, maybe half a year ago, and then I was reading it last month, I think, and I I saw a different man than he's presented by modern uh, self-development channels on YouTube and so on, and like people who say that, oh, Marcus Aurelius, like, man, that you need to be this and that, you need to be strong, you need to be blah 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 blah. Um, it's all lies, in my opinion. But anyway, so I started to search for my inner peace. So I started with, so when it comes to Stoicism, I started reading Seneca first, and I read the whole Seneca, and it was a great reading. The best part of Seneca, I think, was that at first it was the most kind of not annoying, but confusing for me, because in Seneca's letters to Licinius, he spoke a lot about death, not life, but death. And at that time, I didn't really understand why I need to know it, why I need to read it, right? Like you're reading, you try to find the answer to how to deal with let's say, suffering, how to deal with discomfort, how to deal with life problems, and then you read few chapters of just the guy who's speaking on how to accept your death, how to realize the death, what is the death. Can be confusing at the beginning, and it was confusing for me. I was like, okay, well, Seneca, maybe he's a philosopher, maybe he's good one, but he speaks too much about death. I'm still 27 years old, still young, still fresh. I don't need to think about death that much. It was my first personal deep feeling which was coming to me. But then when I finished his writings, I think I completely realized everything what he tried to say. And I think these chapters about death, they're the most important chapters of his writings. He have some other two about happiness as well, and they're also important. But I think without realizing the death, you will not understand happiness, what is life and what is death. So that's the first thing I learned. It was from him, and it was very strong writing actually. And at the end, I realized everything, and I loved it, and I want to reread it um, in maybe a few months once again, with like give it a new approach with new mindset. It's almost 2 months passed since I read it, actually, maybe 2 months. And after this, I started to read Marcus Aurelius, and I finished his writings. And I would say, if you can choose between Marcus Aurelius or Seneca, I would choose Seneca first. Seneca is easier to read because his letters to his friend were written in the language which supposed to be easy to understand, right? He was writing to his friend. He wanted his friend to read it and to understand what he tried to say. Whereas Marcus Aurelius, he was writing for himself in his own language. And a good example I have nowadays, a little spoiler, nowadays I'm keeping my own journal. I'm writing down my thoughts, things that comes to my head, not the one I read. Not I was thinking maybe I would read first a chapter of some philosophical idea, can be anybody idea, think about it, analyze it, and then write it down, my thoughts about this. But then I realized that it's not really necessary because nowadays I have um, I let's say this way, I think that it's not a good idea because it means that I just read, and under the influence of something I write it down. So if I read a very good chapter about why this one is bad, why something is bad, even after comprehending it, I write it down that something is like I would agree with this person probably, right? Because I didn't give it enough proper time to settle down in my head. If I agree with it, really truly agree, it needs time, needs few days and few times, few approaches in my head before I would be 100% sure that yes, that's the thing I'll keep, and that's the thing which I'll let go. That's approach I try to do nowadays. If I read something, I should not, 100%, I should not instantly agree or disagree with this idea. It would be a little bit wrong. What I should do is, after reading it, give it a time to think about it, reapproach this idea later when I have my free time, and think about it from other perspectives. Try to implement this idea with other beliefs which I already have and see how it works, if it works or no. And then we will see the result. That's it, I think. So I'll break the video into few parts, few segments. I don't want to make videos for too long of speaking me, because it's gonna be hard to watch, and there would be a lot of jumpings from one side to another. So let me finish with Stoics. So basically, the first things I did after I decided to search for the answers to my life and to myself and to happiness, freedom, life itself, came from reading philosophy and starting with Stoics. First one, Seneca, great writer. Second, Marcus Aurelius. Few important things are there. I can't say that everything what Marcus Aurelius was writing about you should agree or should disagree, but for you personally, what can you find important? You take it. The rest, if you don't feel that it's important, put it away. I don't say throw it away, it's not correct. You keep it for future, for later. Maybe you will reread, maybe you will reapproach, and you understand it better in the future. But now maybe it's not the case. And last one, I was reading Epictetus. I don't know. I was reading Epictetus, the official writings which were published on Apple like library, and it was written very very well, but a little bit confusing. Who is the writer? Because sometimes it feels like the writer is Epictetus himself. Sometimes it feels like it's his student. I think it was his student, or maybe many students who were following him and writing from his name, and that's what it seems like in Greek, ancient Greece and Rome and so on. What they did, same as like Plato, the Republic I'm reading right now. He's writing from the name of Socrates, but it's Plato who is writing, and we know that the writer is Plato, but he's writing like he is Socrates. So it seems like we read the story which was told to Plato by Socrates from the eyes of Socrates, if you understand what I mean, because it gives us even the feelings how Socrates felt, like from first person. It's like Socrates says, there was like they have discussion, and then it says, and I was shocked together with other people, and then I asked him, and then it continues as a Socrates. So that's what Greeks did, I think. They were writing for their masters, for their teachers, not masters, sorry, for their teachers, um, from first person. Like their teachers, they are their teachers themselves. Their teachers themselves. Anyway, Epictetus, great writing. A lot of things been said. Very deep, very big writing. I was thinking. Very deep, very very nice. He touches many things about wealth, prosperity, power, and so on. I would recommend 100%, and I believe that his ideas show Stoicism better than Marcus Aurelius's meditations, because what says Epictetus comes well together with Seneca. But what said Marcus Aurelius, it's kind of like his personal ideas, not all, but some of them, which doesn't really correlate with Seneca or Epictetus. Anyway, so that's at the end of the let's say chapter 1, and I'll continue with chapter 2, with part 2 of this uh, discussion.